ESPN The Zone.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Can you get me a little typeset?
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Reaction Monday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Tom Abraham. So glad you are with us on this midsummer day. Isn't that what happened? It was like all of a sudden it's midsummer. It went from being like we had spring for a minute, then it went back to being winter for a minute, and now like it's the middle of the summer over this past weekend. But I guess, it's going to settle out when this front comes through that is coming through. I hope it comes through quick because I got a big event coming up at Wheeler Lake later in the week as part of my responsibilities with BASS. And it looks like it's going to be beautiful. It looks like it's going to be gorgeous later in the week. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But the NBA playoffs have moved to the Final Four, and it is potentially glorious. I'll get to that in a moment. The NHL is almost there as well. NCAA softball regionals are set, and some people are upset. Alabama got a 5 seed and will host not only a regional, but maybe a super as well, being in a position that they're in. They were 40-18 on the season with an RPI of 12, but they did have 6 wins against top 10 teams and 9 top 25 wins. And against the other teams that are there's 16 teams that host the regionals. Against the other regional hosts, Alabama has won 8 games against those teams. And overall, they have beaten 13 teams that are in the tournament. So, yeah, the seed is probably okay. Probably okay. Now, Auburn was 40-17. Basically the same record as Alabama. And they are the number 2 seed in the Clemson regional. Now, Clemson is the number 16 seed, right? So Oklahoma's the number 1 seed. Clemson's the 16 seed. So you got 1 through 16 seeds. So I guess that means that Auburn was the top number 2 seed. Does that make sense? Right? If you're the number 2 seed in the lowest seeded teams regional, that makes you the top seed, like Oklahoma, who's the number 1 seed overall. They would have the worst of the 2 seeds. They would have, the number, ostensibly like the number 32 seed in their region, if you will. And I think Auburn is like 17 because it's like, it's like a snake deal. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Tennessee got the 4 seed, by the way, overall. Oklahoma, number 1 seed, as I said. Now, Alabama baseball continues to play well in the wake of Brad Bohannon's firing, taking the series at Texas A&M. And, so they beat Vanderbilt, they beat Texas A&M, and the 2 series since he was blown out, they've won those series, beat Texas A&M on the road. They're now 13-14 in SEC play with 3 at home against Ole Miss to finish the regular season. Ole Miss is terrible. I mean, terrible. I don't know what happened there. I mean, they just are awful. They got like 6 wins in the SEC, something like that. A sweep of Ole Miss would certainly help the Tide's tournament chances out. I mean, if there were 16-14, it's pretty solid in the SEC. Now they're 4th in the SEC West. They're 1 game behind Auburn. Auburn is 14-13. Alabama's 13-14. Gary Clark, he said Kerry Clark, not Gary Clark. not one of the Smurfs from the Washington Redskins. Kerry Clark covers Alabama for Tighter Insider and Bama Central. And he's coming up at the top of the one with more on this. Now, the Titans rookies, including Will Levis and Pete Skratsky. Is that not like the ultimate name for an offensive lineman from Big Ten country? Pete Skratsky. And all the rest of the rookies and the free agents and the people that they bring in for tryouts and things like that, they were on the field over the weekend. Teresa Walker from the AP and the rest of the media got to take a peek at them on Saturday. And, of course, she's also covering the Ja Morant story once again. The Memphis Grizzly has gotten himself suspended again for playing with guns while riding around in his car this time. I just don't understand the level of arrogance or stupidity that this takes. I never thought of Ja Morant as being that kind of a guy. I thought, well, maybe he made it to the one mistake at the club. And now here he is again. I mean, right after he was suspended, and he does this again with guns. And now he's suspended indefinitely. That dude's making like $30 million a year. Put the guns away. Goodness gracious almighty. Just don't understand. So T-Dub is coming up in a few minutes. It should help us with both of those stories. I'd like to focus more on the football story, but we can't ignore Ja Morant. Phone lines are open 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. I need some advice on something that's kind of a personal nature. I mean, it's not like highly personal nature, but it's some sort of a personal nature. The Grizz is showing me screenshots of the way I'm coming across the WZZN TV. Is it still like that, Grizz? I don't know if oh, yeah, it is. Oh, I see it. I can see it right now because I blew the picture up, and now I can see it. Wow, it's like 1964. Let's see if I do this and then do this. Wow. All right, I'm leaving you, Grizz, and then I'm gonna come back to you. That is really kind of cool. To be honest with you, I mean, that's like an effect. You would have to do that. You'd have to make that. Oh, there it is. I don't know, Grizz. I'll try and fix it in a minute. Try and fix it in a commercial break. I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know why that's it. Hang on. Let me do this. Do this. Do that. See if that does anything. I mean, it looks like you know, I feel like I should be. Here we go. I think I fixed it, Grizz. I feel like I should have been saying, is that better, Grizz? Okay. Just nod at me. Okay. All right. Good job by you. I feel like I should have been saying that's one small step for man, one large step for mankind. You know, like landing on the moon or something. Anyway, I have an issue of a personal nature that I need some assistance on. Maybe you can give me some assistance. I don't know what to do with it. I'll explain that a little bit. The station's Twitter feed is at 97.7 ESPN. My personal one is at Tom Abraham Show. We are also on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. Watch the show on the Twitter and the Facebook. I'm not on the moon anymore. You can watch it on the YouTube at WZZN TV and on Twitch there as well. What I did, Grizz, is I just unplugged my camera and I plugged it back in. So I don't know if that made it. I guess that did it. I'm not sure, but I guess that did it. Make sure you get the apps. You need the apps. Go to 977ESPN.com and get links to all of that stuff and get both of our apps, the Zone and the Blitz app, and you'll be good to go. So the AL East is now a ridiculous 48 games over 500. They are 93-46 outside of the division. 93-46 outside of the division. The only team in the AL East that's under 500 is the Atlanta Braves, who lead the NL East by 5 games over the Phillies. But Atlanta is only 3-5 versus the AL East after getting swept by the Blue Jays. I don't even know what I'm supposed to think of this. I mean, are the Braves as good as I think the Braves are, or are they just playing in a crap division in a crap league? Yeah, come on over to the AL East and see what you got. I mean, the Yankees are on an 89-win pace, which is 3 less wins than last season when they won the division, and that'd be good for last in the division this year. It's just crazy. The AL East is out of control. Other things going on in the world of sports. There's a bunch of news that is coming out of the mothership, ESPN, regarding to drop tomorrow. And much of it surrounds Pat McAfee. And his star just continues to rise. So we'll work that in as well. You guys Pat McAfee fans at all? How do you put Pat McAfee on ESPN TV? Because they're pretty potty-mouthed on that show. They're going to have to clean. They would have to clean that up if that's what's going to happen. And people off left and right because the mothership of their mothership, which is Disney, is laying off 7,000 employees. Not 7,000 employees from ESPN. They're laying off a total of 7,000 employees company-wide, many of which from ESPN. And ESPN.com and ESPN et al. And but yet they continue to throw big money at others. I mean, if Pat McAfee gets that gig, that's an 8-figure-a-year job for Pat McAfee. He's making $30 million a year right now from FanDuel, and he's talking about walking away from that deal. It's crazy. So we'll get that in there. We are one more series away in the NBA from the Lakers and Celtics in the NBA final for the 12th time. But Denver, Miami, not so much. Nobody wants to watch Denver and Miami, even though you got the best player in the league and the Joker in Denver, and you got Jimmy Butler, the playoff savant in Miami. We don't want to watch that. Well, Lakers and Celtics at this point, don't we? And the NHL, oh my God, the NHL's killing me. The NHL, Florida and Carolina in the East, Vegas and either Seattle or Dallas in the West. I'm done. My last hope to watch the Stanley Cup Finals was Edmonton. I'm going to have a hard time, man. Honest to God, you know I love my pucks. I'm done. I wanted Bruins in Edmonton. It was going to be glorious. Okay, the Bruins are out. Maybe Edmonton, they're out. Done. Back in his little glass booth over there, playing the Platters of Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones, keeping you on the air, telling me that I look like I'm on the moon. It's the one and only DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grizzlicious, how you doing today?
I'm doing. Oh my gosh, I'm doing all right, but I'm hurting, man. I'm hurting. I'm aching, but I'm all right. I'm here. We're day to day, every day, and we're here to do the show. Man,
you want to explain why you're hurting and you're out of breath and everything else? You can't just say that to the people out there. They don't know what's going on. Well, you got to tell the people what's going on.
Steve Moulton and Captain Cole, John Abraham, and I went to Zoom Indoor Cycling. And it is located downtown. Yeah. It is literally we did a 45-minute workout with owner and coach, whatever you want to call her, Jody Wurst, who literally kicked our butts the entire time. This is not a workout by any means that people need to quote, girly. Guys, you're going to get your butt kicked in it. And if you do it more than once,
so why would anybody want to get your butt kicked? Why would you want to do that?
I mean, if you're going to work out and you want to get the best workout, you definitely want to try to do this because, like, if you do if you want to try other types of workouts that maybe not working for you or anything like that,
right.
But like a different way, or maybe you like to ride bikes. It's a great way to really just start sweating and then work out, and you'd be surprised at the size of the weights that Steve and Captain Cool were using.
Captain Cool realize. What? So wait a minute. So is it a bike place?
Yeah,
is it just a spin place, or is there a gym too?
Okay, so it's an indoor cycling place, but then they've got the little hand weights, and then you do the hand weights at the end, like towards the end of the ride.
Okay.
And so they do certain types
while you're on the bike.
Yeah, while you're riding the bike.
While you're riding the bike.
Yeah. Do you think you can do those two things at the same time?
No. Not at all. Not
it was really difficult for the guys.
Not even when I was an athlete. Now, what about? But Captain Cool shouldn't have any problem with that stuff.
Captain Cool was dying. You should ask him
day.
about it. You should ask him about it. It was hurting him. But I mean, he was also he was videoing and we were he was trying to keep up a little bit. But the guys
works out every day.
I know, but the guys congratulate. That's probably why he probably did legs yesterday or something like that. He's probably just he's probably sore. But I mean, they congratulated me because I'm sitting there doing the entire course because the entire time I'm just looking up and I'm thinking that she's looking at me, Jody's looking at me, and she's like, "Oh my God, these guys suck. These guys are awful. These guys are out of shape," which we are. We're out of shape. But
Captain Cool is not out of shape. He's in great shape.
I'll tell you right now.
Not riding a bike shape. Apparently,
you think you're in shape until you start riding a bike for real. You think you're you think some of you guys out there are you can. I get the guys that do the road
different muscles.
Bikes.
Yeah. It's different things.
I swear, and the little workouts in between, man, that's a lot. I'm gonna tell you right now. That was it was a good workout, but it was very fun. I appreciate.
Who else is a little tired today? Jason Tatum. How about that dude dropping 51?
The most in a Game 7? That's wow.
Ever.
It's insane.
And broke the record that was set like 2 weeks ago.
And
Steph Curry had 50 in the first round Game 7 of that matchup. And now some of you might have been confused and you heard, well, that was the most. They thought that was the most in a playoff game. It's not 63 because of Michael Jordan. It's always Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? It always goes back to Michael Jordan. 63. All right, in a playoff game. Moulton's not blowing up my phone with pictures of him doing that thing, I think.
He took pictures of me?
Oh, no, maybe not.
I thought Captain Cool at least. I know Captain Cool did, and he recorded some videos, so it was good.
Yeah.
Able to talk to Jody after. Still got some great zone deals still out there if you want to get working out. That's a great way to check it out for a whole month. I mean, you get a whole month.
You get $100 month for $50 on deals, on zone deals.
And anyway, some great deals throughout the year, too.
So 63 is the record for most points in a playoff game. That's MJ. But this was the most points in a Game 7, and I don't know what Philadelphia is going to do. I don't know. Doc Rivers, his record in the playoffs is abysmal. I mean, his record is awful in the playoffs. So you got to wonder what's going to happen there with that dude. He says he's coming back. If I were them, I'd be like, not so fast.
Yeah.
They've got the MVP in Joel Embiid. He didn't do anything. He didn't do much.
Yeah.
He was under. Now I know he was hurt at the end of the season, but he didn't do anything in terms of, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. But the Celtics get there. And was that they had a 3-1 lead in that deal, Philadelphia, and blew that deal. When they went back home, then they go home. No, they had 3-2 lead.
They were up 3-2.
They were 3-2 lead and went back home.
Yeah.
I told you Game 6 was Game 6 and Game 7. I was afraid of that because I was like, how's Philadelphia, at the end of the day, Philly's not going to win 3 games in Boston. And that's what they were attempting to do. And that game was like a toss-up at halftime.
Well,
and then Boston just went off, and they outscored them like 33-14 or something like that in the third period, and that was the end of that. 33-10, they outscored them in the third.
Yeah, and it was like when they called him out for what he said, during the post game, and he was kind of like making his other teammates accountable, but then in a way it's like, James Harden and him didn't show up throughout these playoffs a little bit. I mean, James Harden, I think, had 12 the last game. So it's like James Harden, when you know he can shoot the lights out of the ball, it just seems like he just is one of the guys once it comes to crunch time. So it's
the comment was totally taken out of context.
Definitely.
You have to read the entire quote. I think I have it somewhere in my deal there, because you have to read the entire quote. It was totally out of context in terms of what they said that he said that they said. When he said James and I can't do it by ourselves. He said we all have to be better. It's just out of context. All right. Anyway, we got to get a break. When we come back, Teresa Walker will join us. John Morant, and more importantly, how did Will Levis look? And Pete Skoronski and the rest of the young guys at Titans camp over the weekend. She is next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1998, Scooter's Coffee has delivered high-quality drinks with quick service and a big smile. And the folks at Scooter's Coffee know a great cup of coffee or other drink can bring a smile to just about anyone. Yes, we specialize in great coffee, but Scooter's also has smoothies, teas, and delicious food items, too. And this week, Scooter's is our zone deal. Right now, get $50 worth of Scooter's in Huntsville for just $25 online at 977ESPN.com.
0% financing is happening right now at Woody Anderson Ford through Memorial Day weekend. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got financing as low as 0% APR for up to 36 months on 22 and 23 models of F-150, Explorer, Edge, and Escape. These are our best-selling Fords, and for a limited time, both 22 and 23 models have 0% financing, but it's only through Memorial Day weekend. Test drive a Woody Anderson Ford F-150, and you'll completely understand why it's the best-selling truck in America 46 years in a row. We've got a good selection of Explorers, Edges, and Escapes too, and some come with trade assist or bonus cash. But if you remember one thing, remember this. Woody Anderson Ford has 0% financing on 22 and 23 models of F-150, Explorer, Edge, and Escape through Memorial Day weekend only. Available with your good credit through Ford Motor Credit. These offers end May 31st. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in the Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes. We show up.
New coordinators.
That's as good as money, sir.
New quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Same coach.
All right, and you all may be taking the week off, all right, this week, but I'm not.
We are your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Music ever recorded in the history of mankind. 25 minutes into a Monday show. necessarily a bad thing either. Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Glad that you are with us today. Tennessee Titans were on the field with the rookies, the free agents, the invitees, and all that stuff over the weekend. And on Saturday, the collected media got a chance to kind of take a look at that. And that means that Teresa Walker, who's been following his team since they moved to Nashville in 1997, I think it was, 98? 97, 98, 97 to Memphis, 98 to Nashville, maybe something like that. She's seen it all, and so now she sees the new guys that are in there, and potentially the new left tackle, left guard. We don't know. Pete Skoronski. Can't believe they just gave him Taylor Lewan's number just like that. Like we're just supposed to forget. And Will Levis wearing Marcus Mariota's number. That doesn't look right either. T-Dub joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline from the AP in Tennessee. Teresa, welcome in. How are you?
I am good. I will say that the 8 looks better on Will Levis than it did on Cody Hollister last year. I mean, a very tall wide receiver that a single-digit number just it never looked like it fit. So, absolutely, it looks better on him. Now, hopefully, Will Levis eventually has more success and a longer stay with the Titans. At least that's their hope. I will say this, Will Levis, I'll be honest. I am a graduate of the University of Tennessee. I cover Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. So when I see a quarterback drafted who lost, had 3 interceptions against Tennessee losing last year, lost to Vanderbilt last year, I admit it's like, okay, I got to see this for myself. Wasn't impressed with those results, but, this is the NFL. And for everybody wanting to say, well, wait a minute, and it didn't help himself with some people on Saturday when he talked about how, this offense is a little similar to Kentucky. Well, I think he's talking about the offense that he ran in 21 when Liam Cohen was the offensive coordinator. Liam Cohen, who went to the Rams in the NFL last year and is now back with Kentucky. He talked about having to, be kind of having some familiarity with what the Titans are wanting to run under new offensive coordinator Tim Kelly. And having to get that language down with the Titans forgetting what they called it in Kentucky. He showed off his arm. He threw some nice balls. He had one to Colton Dowell, the only wide receiver they took with their 6th and final pick out of UT Martin. Had a nice, catch and run, and he runs down the field to celebrate with Dowell on that. But he finished up the session with a ball into, what Mike Vrabel called a team meeting, that 6'7" tight end Josh Wiley, who I'll say this, 5th rounder, I was very impressed with that man. You can tell that, he's tall. There's a reason his high school coaches convinced him to switch to tight end. They told him that that's where his future would lie. They're not lying, okay? He moves and can adjust to the ball in the air. You can see that he started as a receiver in his career. He's got those skills. And he made a really nice contested catch. But Mike Vrabel said, we're going to tell him that, don't throw that to team meetings. And when the vets are here, things are not going to work out like that. So, it was interesting. Peter Skoronski, he and the Levis family, long ties. Levis's grandfather coached Skoronski's dad on the defensive line at Yale. Now, Skoronski's grandfather was with the Vince Lombardi Packers, won 5 NFL titles.
Right.
So there, the NFL bloodlines run deep, but the families know each other. So, whenever Dave Kelly would go to Chicago for recruiting trips, he would stay with the Skoronskis. And during the pre-draft process, the Skoronskis and the Levises, kind of stayed in touch a little bit. And they both players signed with the same agency. And Will Levis said Saturday that after Skoronski was taken at 11, he's kind of wondering, wouldn't it be interesting, how funny, coincidental would it be if we end up, if they take me too? And sure enough, they traded up to number 33 and took him at quarterback. So now the Titans used Skoronski, who, he was the 3rd of 4 offensive tackles taken in that first round, maybe. I'm trying to think back, but I've slept since then, Tom. But, he dropped a little bit because, short arm syndrome. People see him more as a guard rather than tackle. Well, the Titans did try him in the rookie minicamp that we could see at both spots. Now, the fun part will be when they work them in with the vets and we'll get our first chance to see them a week from tomorrow where they work them, because they did sign in free agency Andre Dillard, a former first-round pick, Daniel Brunskill, a guard with the Niners under Rand Carthon. So, this is an offensive line unit that is being completely redone. Some of the post-draft roundups, put the Titans as having a very, very nice draft. Jalen Duncan, who is an offensive tackle, that they took in the 6th round, they had him among the top 100, prospects. So, he might get a chance to play early and often, depending on Dylan Radins, Nicholas Petit-Frere. Aaron Brewer's the guy who's going to get a first shot at center. But, this is very much a line that's going to be mobile and move. I can't wait to see how and where they line all these guys up, Tom. But Skoronski is, Rand Carthon made it clear. You take a guy at 11, he's going to be starting. The only question for the Titans is where.
Yeah, he's going to play, whether it's a guard.
Immediately.
Yeah, he's going to play right away, whether it's a guard or a tackle. I was surprised they dropped the 77 on him. I mean, Taylor Lewan had a hell of a career for the Titans. You'd think you'd give it a minute, you know what I mean? And but they gave Skoronski that number. And but is there a better name for a dude that is an offensive lineman from the Big Ten than Pete Skoronski? You know what I mean? I mean, this guy is like stereotypical, Big Ten type of offensive lineman. And he's got the right attitude and mindset too, because other guys might be offended by the fact that Levis is getting a ton of attention here. I mean, this is the way it is. He's a quarterback that was expected to be picked anywhere from number 4 to number 40, and he ends up at the Titans. And it's almost like you have to remind people, Levis was the 2nd round pick. Skoronski was the 1st rounder, but he has a great attitude about it. Typical offensive lineman attitude.
Absolutely. Well, and it's in the bloodlines. I mean, his dad was defensive lineman. His grandfather was a tackle, offensive tackle for the Packers. So, I mean, grew up a Packers fan. Luckily, the Packers are not on the schedule this year, so they don't have to, root for one against the other. But, but I'll say that he was the guy who talked first on Saturday after practice, and then Levis went, and they kind of went almost in order of draft selection there. Yeah. So, it is what it is. He's an offensive lineman, and most offensive linemen, they're happy to let the quarterbacks and those other guys talk. So, as long as he plays and does what Mike Vrabel has said, be violent, and when he gets his hands on you, he stops you, that's what's going to matter, because, only 4 teams in the NFL gave up more sacks last year than the Tennessee Titans, who had, 49. It was funny. Pro Football Focus had them with 33, and it's like, no. Ryan Tannehill was sacked 33 times. The 3 quarterbacks who played games for the Titans last year and started for them, they gave up 49 sacks total. Yeah. So tied with it, I think the Giants and only 4 other teams gave up more sacks, right? So that's an area that that's why they spent their 1st-round pick on Skoronski, a guy that they made clear they didn't think would be there at 11. They would have been happy taking Levis at 11 if Skoronski was off the board. But they had Skoronski there. They wanted him. They had him as a high pick, so they grabbed him to help continue fixing an area of massive need. And then they still get Levis. So, and Mike Vrabel's made it clear right now. Will Levis is in number 3. He's going to have to prove that Malik Willis is the backup. And we'll see how long that lasts. But Ryan Tannehill, who's been here this whole off season, okay, he's been there. He's been in the off season program. He wasn't here until May a year ago, and he made it clear he was working out in Florida. Brought some receivers down, worked with them. But he's recovering from an ankle injury. He knows this is his last year on his current deal. And who knows what happens, but Ryan Tannehill's here working with Traylon Burks, Chig Okonkwo, the 2 guys who were also in the off-season program, making sure that the 2 guys that are likely to be his top targets, he's working on chemistry with them. So he's going to be the number 1, and we'll see how quickly Will Levis can push him. But Will Levis, I had people tweeting at me, Tom, and it's like his triceps look like they're misformed, and it's like, no, the guy has got muscles.
Oh, he's huge. He's huge. I met him last year at
stereotype, prototypical quarterback for the NFL. 6'4", 224, I think is what he's listed at. he's muscled. He's got that competitive fire. The first snap, you're in a rookie camp. A guy snapping the ball to you. You met Thursday night. You've been on the field a couple times. The first snap was botched, and you could see. He's kind of slapping hands. You could tell he was not happy with himself over that, right? So that quarterback leadership fire, those intangibles that you want to see from that guy, you could see that in a rookie minicamp situation. So that's good, I think, for the Titans looking down the road, because ideally, Tannehill starts this year. You're competing for the AFC South title because, again, it's the AFC South. Why shouldn't you be targeting that title? I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars are going to have to prove that, can they win 10 straight again this year? I'm not so sure that they can. Yeah. Because, and then the Titans, I'm thinking division title playoffs this year and try to make this a NASCAR pit stop is what I've been calling this rebuild process. And then maybe, then Will Levis takes over next year as your starter, and you use lots of cap space that they're going to have and their draft picks to address the additional holes that they still need to fill.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it that Levis. I know you were a Hendon Hooker guy. I know that's who you wanted, and Levis. But at 33, at 33 becomes such a value. I met him last year at SEC Media Days. He's got Jack Armstrong good looks. He's got star quality. If he gets the job done on the field, he'll be a huge star in the mid-state if he can get the job done on the field. And he just. The Malik Willis thing. I mean, come on, let's be honest. I mean, he could. Josh Dobbs had been in the league 5 years, never started a game, and they brought him in mid-season and started him over Malik Willis. That tells you everything you need to know about Malik Willis. I'm shocked he still has the 7, and that Levis hasn't gotten that thing yet from him, to be honest with you. And I guess they'll carry all 3. Maybe they won't. We'll see how that works out in this NFL, but. Levis is a hard-working guy. There's stories about him and his roommates that showed up in Nashville, and Levis was already deep into the playbook. He's been studying. He's that guy. The biggest problem for him is that he tried to do too much on his own last year, which created to a lot of mistakes and a lot of injury, bad offensive line. But he owns the mistakes that he makes. So I think if they can,
absolutely.
Yeah, he really is the perfect complement to Ryan Tannehill because in a lot of ways, he's Ryan Tannehill 12 years younger or 13 years younger. I mean, he is got that kind of same skill set. We'll just have to see how it transfers over. But yeah, he has an opportunity to not get chucked in there right away. Unlike maybe like Anthony Richardson, who will be up in Indianapolis, the rest of the division's better. There's no doubt. I mean, the rest of the division's better. The coaching change that was made at the Texans. We'll see about, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis were 3 of the 4 quarterbacks that were talked about as being the top quarterbacks in this draft, and 3 of them landed in the division. And, oh, by the way, Trevor Lawrence, who was the number 1 pick overall 3 years ago, is also in the division. So this division could go from being one of the softest in the league 3 years from now. They may be talking about this as being a division that's got the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. You don't know.
Exactly. In an AFC, the conference that is loaded with the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and now you add these guys to this side of the ledger. It's very interesting to see how this all ends up going. But that's the thing. Right now, and Matt Hasselbeck, former Titans quarterback, worked with Will Levis among some of the quarterbacks after the combine, and he, Joe Rexroth did a great story for The Athletic on Levis about, and quoting Hasselbeck saying that he thinks this is the perfect situation for Levis, that he is a Vrabel guy, that work, accountability, that taking ownership of mistakes. When we talked to him the night of the draft, he said, the second half of last season I had a toe injury. It affected me, and, it wasn't what I was, wanting last year. Kentucky played in the Music City Bowl here to wrap up the season, and he didn't play because he was trying to get healthy and get ready for, he was one of those guys who opted out to focus on his pro career. And obviously, it didn't pay off in a top draft pick, but it may have paid off, and then he ended up with a team where he can be a perfect fit and not forced into the lineup. Yeah.
How did this Tajay Spears look, the 3rd-round pick out of out of Tulane, explosive little running back. That could also be a nice addition to that backfield. Take a little pressure off of Derrick Henry as he enters this last third of his career.
Well, let's put it this way. He looked good, and he can absolutely – I mean, they've been trying to find that guy out of the backfield for how long, right? They had the one guy that every time he was on the field, the former Patriot, and who I'm blanking on his name, you knew they were going to throw him the ball every time, right? And because of that, he wasn't effective. Then they draft Darrington Evans, couldn't stay healthy, 6 games. After 2 years, they cut him. Dontrell Hilliard, was effective when available. Unfortunately, injuries, ended his season last year, and they let him walk in free agency. So, he was the American Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year, the MVP of the Cotton Bowl, where Tulane came back and beat Southern Cal, put together incredible numbers. We did press him, 3 straight questions on his leg because, when he was drafted, all the draft experts say he has no ACL, he has no ACL. And when we asked him about it, he's like, I was out there able to do everything I could do. I asked specifically, do you compensate with all the other muscles and ligaments in the knee? And he's like, I was out there doing what I could do. Paul Kaharski followed up, and are you? And he said, I am healthy. So, he's focusing on them now, and that's all the Titans care about. I mean, I've seen reports that he'll have to deal with arthritis probably sooner rather than later. But, if you're in your 40s or 50s, you already understand, arthritis comes to all of us. It just may come sooner to Tyjae Spears. And if he can do what he did this last season for Tulane, the Tennessee Titans will be very, very happy to have him. If that's 2 to 4 to 5 years, they'll take it and run with it.
Yeah. Teresa Walker with us from the AP in Tennessee. All right, so then the other big story that broke that you had to deal with over the weekend, of course, is Ja Morant. And, one time, and you sit there and you say, oh, silly boy, we didn't really see this in his personality. This wasn't a kid that was in trouble at Murray State or anything like that. And, generally a good guy. But then I don't understand the level of arrogance or stupidity that it takes for a guy a month after being suspended like that to go out and do a similar type of thing and get himself suspended indefinitely now. When a dude is making whatever, $20 million a year, whatever the heck it is that he's making, what the heck is wrong with this kid?
Tom, if I had that answer for you, I would probably be retired on an island and not talking to you right now. I mean, I'll say this. The incident in March, he was the one allegedly holding a gun and live streaming himself on his own Instagram account. Whenever this video, and it looks like it was Saturday, and his sister graduated this weekend from high school in the Memphis area, so maybe the attention should have been on her. This was a friend, and I've been told this is the friend who was that Josh said in February had been banned from Grizzlies home games for a year because of an incident post game with the Pacers, and Devontae Pack was escorted away from his courtside seat during the game January 29th. And I've been told that the Instagram account that this was live streamed from belongs to Pack, and that it looks like it's a great day. They're listening to a song, they're singing along, and all of a sudden, the instant that Ja appears to flash a gun in the left hand, did you notice that video quickly turned away? So I'm not sure. I'm working on a story right now. I've talked to some folks, and here's the thing. Grizzlies being suspended by the Grizzlies for team activities, it's the off season. So, what activities might those be? I don't have an answer. I've reached out to see, does that mean he can't come to their gym to put up shots? Well, he's got a court at his house in East Memphis. So he can put up shots whenever he wants to. He hosts pickup games on this court with, local high school
He also
talent,
gets in trouble
right?
with fighting with high school kids over a pickup game, right? I mean, him and his guy.
There's
Peck.
a lawsuit
He needs to
over
pick
an
better
incident
friends.
last July.
He needs better friends. That's what he needs. This Peck kid is getting him in trouble everywhere.
Tom, maybe it comes down to Ja Morant making better decisions because, again, the friend that was live streaming turned the camera away immediately when he pulled out what appeared to be a gun. The NBA is gathering information. And here's the thing that puts him under the reason. I checked a few minutes ago. He's still the number 2 trending topic a day later nationally, U.S. And you want to know why? We're in the NBA's prime time season, okay? You know who's below him in trending topics? Joel Embiid, the NBA MVP. Doc Rivers, they were just eliminated in Game 7 in the Eastern semifinals. In a couple of weeks before the NBA Finals, Adam Silver, the commissioner, he traditionally has a news conference before Game 1, and Ja Morant is likely to be a question of that comes up at least once or twice. So there is a bit of a timeline here. The team, maybe he doesn't go to represent the team at a charity function or things like that. So, they're off season. They're in their off season. He can do mostly what he needs to do by himself, but there is a clock ticking here, and Ja Morant is the one on the clock because this is the third time the NBA has had to look into something involving Ja Morant or a friend since the end of January. So he was.
It's going to be games, right? No matter what it is right now. I mean, so what? He can't go there and have lunch at the team facility, whatever. It's going to be being games. It's going to have to be games. He's going to miss a month. I just think he's. I think when they open up the season, Silver's going to say, "All right, 8 games for the last one. This one's going to be 20 games." He's going to miss a month.
Well, and there are people calling for more.
There may be more.
Parsons, who played 95 games for the Grizzlies in his very brief, not so illustrious tenure, he's calling for a season. And there are others out. There are reports, and there are people. There's people saying it could be 20, 40. Gilbert Arenas got 50. For having an unloaded weapon in the locker room and threatening a teammate. So that's the thing. What does Adam Silver do? And that's why the NBA schedule comes out usually mid-August. Training camps start and open at the end of September. Because of where we're at in the NBA calendar, I'm going to guess that we have a decision on this sooner rather than later, and probably before Adam Silver faces the media at the NBA Finals.
You think if he didn't get suspended, didn't have all this bad notoriety, obviously it was before this latest incident, but do you think that suspension cost him the All-NBA team? Because he seems like he's an All-NBA player, and it cost him about $40 million in future earnings because he was not made eligible for the Supermax, which I really don't like that's tied to the All-NBA because that's 100 broadcasters and media members determining what kind of money a guy's going to make, really. But I wonder if that hadn't happened at the end of the season, whether he would have been All-NBA.
It's a great question. His jersey was the 8th best-selling jersey in the second half of the NBA season, and that's on the NBA.com store site. Yeah. That doesn't count once being sold elsewhere. He was two-time All-Star. He was the most improved player a year ago. He led his team in scoring again this year, played more games this season, and, was their leading scorer. He certainly, and he ended up not being on, not the first All-NBA team, second, or even the third.
Yeah, no.
So, exactly. So, it's fair to say that this attention is hurting him in the pocketbook as we speak. And, but his Jaw One shoes hit the market April 19th. He might see this as a way to, this might be a brand that he's trying to sell. And I'll just say this, doing that, the problem is, is the NBA okay with this? We're talking about, guns in a state, Tennessee is relaxing gun laws each of the last 2 legislative sessions. And a recent AG opinion said that 18-year-olds can open carry, so he's not violating gun laws. But when he was suspended in March, the NBA decision specifically was for conduct detrimental to the league. And that's where, and any endorsement deals, his countersuit that was filed in April mentioned how the lawsuit he was facing with the teenager was jeopardizing potential sponsorships. So, these are all things that come into play, but it just feels like, there does feel like a suspension is coming. The only question is how long. Is it 20 games? Spot Rack tweeted out earlier today, if it's under 20, how much it would cost him per game. If it's over 20, how much it would cost. Because, right now he's looking at making, based on a $134 million salary cap, his pay is in the range of $33.5 million for the first year of the contract he signed last summer.
Yeah, for the first year, 5 years, $194 total on that deal. And look, I want to make it political, but responsible gun ownership is one thing. You know what I mean? I don't think that the state of Tennessee is relaxing those things for responsible gun ownership. That doesn't mean you're in a club dancing, waving your gun around. That doesn't mean you're in your car singing a rap song, waving a gun around. I mean, if I see that gun, I need to see that he's protecting his home or his property or something from an attack, not just using it as a prop to play with. That's not what I don't think that's what the legislature means when they're making whatever rules that they decide to make. And then you got Taylor Jenkins, the coach of the team, after they got eliminated from the playoffs, getting hammered in that loss to the Lakers, saying that the team has to eliminate unnecessary drama, self-inflicted decisions, and take away from the team. Yeah, this isn't that, okay? This isn't what Taylor Jenkins was hoping for, I guess.
Well, no, and here's the thing. John Morant talked after that loss and Sunday, less than 48 hours later, that he understood that he needed to be better on and off the court, and this does seem to fly in the face of that.
Yep.
And that's the thing. The lawsuit that Joshua Holloway filed against him alleges that that one of the reasons that's in that lawsuit says that Ja went into the house, came back out, and put his hand on a gun in his waistband. So it's like, these videos lend credence to that young man's lawsuit, which is wiling its way through the court system. So, and again, John Morant filed a countersuit April 12th. So that's the fun thing is like, you can fight things out in court, but he's not helping himself in a variety of fashions with these things.
No doubt. All right, always appreciating Teresa Walker does a tremendous job with the AP in Tennessee, all things Tennessee. T-Dub, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Tom. You're welcome.
All right, thank you. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number one, set you up for hour number two on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Guys, music can inspire us. Let the concert quality sound system at Zoom Indoor Cycling help push you harder than you ever thought possible. No matter if you're a beginner or an experienced rider, you'll ride top-of-the-line Stages SC3 bikes as the most talented instructors in North Alabama motivate you to reach your goals.
You can do it!
Zone Indoor Cycling is this week's Zone deal. Get a $100 certificate for just $50. Get yours now at 977ESPN.com. $2 specialty shoe rental per ride for new riders.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas return home for 6 games starting Tuesday, May 16th as they take on the Birmingham Barons. First 1,500 adults into the gates at Toyota Field will receive a commemorative Trash Pandas bobblehead. Get your tickets while they are still available now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, we'll see partly sunshine heading into the afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms become a possibility. High temperatures going to be topping back out in the upper 80s for the afternoon. For your Monday night, a few lingering showers and thunderstorms still going to be possible. Otherwise, we'll sit under a mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures expected to fall back into the upper 60s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
soul. I'm a rebel and rogue, and I'm always on the run. With a fire inside, I ain't ever.
Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. On a recruiting note, Dylan Raiola, number one quarterback in the country to get richer, has committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. 6'3", 220-pounder. In the class of 2024 out of Phoenix. He is now committed verbally to the Georgia Bulldogs, and it's an interesting situation there for the Bulldogs because you would think they had their guys kind of laid out in terms of Carson Beck. I fully believe that Carson Beck will be the starter this year. He's a redshirt junior. Brock Vandegrift is a redshirt sophomore, and Gunnar Stockton, who was highly recruited, is a redshirt freshman. And now they'll be bringing Dominic Raiola in next year. And this is a thick, 220-pound kid with a cannon for an arm that you wouldn't think would sit around long before he was in there playing. So Georgia gets the number one quarterback in the country in their next class. All right, coming up next, Kerry Clark joins us on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. As the 76ers head into another offseason, following a third straight second-round playoff exit, Coach Doc Rivers says he intends to return to Philadelphia next season. James Harden, not yet sure what his future holds. He can either opt into his $35.6 million play option for next season or decline it and become an unrestricted free agent. Asked what he hoped his next opportunity would look like after free agency, Harden says he just wants to have a chance to compete. The NBA continues to gather more information on a social media post from over the weekend showing Grizzlies star Ja Morant holding a gun. The Grizzlies yesterday suspended him from all team activities. Morant 2 months ago was suspended by the NBA over a similar incident. Stanley Cup playoffs, Stars host the Kraken in Game 7 tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN TV. The Golden Knights await the winner in the Western Conference Final.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, we'll see partly sunshine heading into the afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms become a possibility. High temperatures going to be topping back out in the upper 80s for the afternoon. For your Monday night, a few lingering showers and thunderstorms still going to be possible. Otherwise, we'll sit under a mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures expected to fall back into the upper 60s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Is it lonely at the top?
Deja vu.
Not at all.
Come on, we're an ace. Everybody knows it.
Thank you for listening to 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It entertains me. I enjoy listening on the way home.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Tom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog, Tom Abraham.
How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Tom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. The service department at Woody Anderson Ford is second to none. It's all you need when it comes to getting your vehicle serviced. It's Woody Anderson Ford. Doesn't matter if it's a Ford or not. When you get on down there to Woody Anderson Ford, you go through those service lanes and you see how expert those people are that will check your vehicle in and so on. You're going to realize that you're in great hands with Woody Anderson Ford. I've gone through the actual shop, too, where they work on the vehicles. It's like a NASCAR garage in there. It's incredible. Don't forget to certify gold pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson Ford. You can find them at WoodyAndersonFord.com. It's WoodyAndersonFord.com. Shop those there. And, of course, the inventory on the new vehicles has been increasing month by month as well. The F-150 and all the great Mustangs and everything else that they've got down there at Woody Anderson Ford, the Ford Edge as well. Check it out, Woody Anderson Ford. All right, Alabama softball 5 seed. Regardless of whatever the injury to Montana Fouts is, 5 seed in the upcoming regionals, which means they'll host the regionals and be in position to host the super regional as well. Baseball on a roll as well, 13-14 now in the league, and they've got Ole Miss coming in this weekend for 3. It's not out of realm of possibility they could sweep that team. I mean, Ole Miss is not very good this year, and who knows what a 15-15 or 16-14 Alabama baseball team, what that would look like as a potential tournament team, regardless of what they might do in the SEC tournament. So who better to talk to than about all of this than Kerry Clark, who covers Alabama for not only Tider Insider, but for Bama Central, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Kerry, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing good, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic. I was a little bit confused about the injury to Montana Fouts and the fact that I guess it happened on Friday, and they said that she was going to be seeing a doctor today when they got back to Tuscaloosa. You would think, I mean, wouldn't they have sent her back? I mean, wouldn't you want to get some kind of information ASAP and get her in and get her evaluated, maybe even over the weekend? What do you know about this?
Well, they work on the schedule of Dr. Lyle Kane, and he said that he could see her at 8 o'clock Monday, and that's when they wanted him to see her because they didn't want her to see anybody else but him. And he's the most respected orthopedist that's actively practicing in the state of Alabama right now, perhaps the Southeast. And so she went to see him this morning at 8 o'clock. The university has not yet said what the results of that examination were. The only source I've got on the matter said it's not positive news, but nothing has been announced officially about her availability for the regional this weekend.
So there's the regionals, and then moving on from there, I suppose. And what do we know about the injury itself, other than lower leg? Is it a calf injury? Is it a hamstring? You think about a softball pitcher and how hard they push off that back leg. That would be pretty tough to be anywhere near 100%. Even in a couple of weeks.
It is on the plant leg, and it is a knee.
It's the knee.
The theory is that it's a meniscus, but that's what they were wanting Dr. Kane to diagnose today. I'm certain that the first thing she did when she got to his office in Birmingham was to have an MRI, Tom. What the results are have not been made public. The only rumor I've heard on it is that it's not good news for Alabama, but that is not official.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you saw it, I saw it. It didn't look good.
No.
She tried to throw a pitch, and she went so badly. It was just terrible to see, and the horrible way for your career to end. Yeah, if that's the case, we don't know yet, but indications are that she's not likely to play this weekend. I will let Patrick Murphy make that announcement officially, which he has not done yet. I suspect he will either today or tomorrow, but right now we're still waiting to hear a confirmation from him. And like I said, the only source I've got on the matter is saying it's not good news for Bama, but it was kind of vague the way he put it when he texted me, so I'll just wait and see what the UA says. But it is a knee, and it is on the plant foot, and, if it is a meniscus, he's done. If it's like a strain, maybe you can rest her this week and try to get back to Super Regionals. But the thing is, Tom, the field that's coming in here, I think, is too tough, and I've been following UA softball for probably 20 years. I think this field that's coming in here is too tough to get past without Montana Fountain. Unless you get explosion from your bat that has only been seen very recently and not consistently.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I knew that, Middle Tennessee, Central Arkansas, and Long Island University coming in, and I thought that they could still survive that. Were you surprised that apparently they didn't weigh the injury? I mean, there's some controversy about being the number 5 seed anyway. The RPI was 12, but they also had some very good wins against other teams that are in. I think they beat like 13 of the 16 teams that are, that are seeded teams in this deal. They had several wins and 6 wins against top 10 teams. So it seems like it would be justified, but you wonder, do they take into account the potential injury and how they look at it, kind of like how the men's committee looks at the basketball when they go into the March Madness?
Well, when they first said they were going to have her examined Monday morning, I thought that's what they were doing. But I came to find out that they had to wait until Dr. King could be in his office, and see her. So I guess it worked out to their advantage in that regard. But I'm going to tell you, the only thing you didn't mention in those stats you accurately quoted, number 2 strength of schedule nationally. And that will get you from a 12 to, I'll say, an 8 and still hosting. The 5 was a shock. And I'll be frank with you, Tom, I was in the room last night with the team when they announced this. Only 4 journalists were in there, and I was one of them. And I saw them all leap to their feet when they were named the 5 seed. And then when I'm going to paraphrase this next saying, but when they went to commercial, Murphy stood up and told the old room, and I'll paraphrase, that's why you freaking schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And it paid off. I mean, I thought they might get like a 10, something like that, because of their RPI being a 12. I knew they had a good SOS, but I didn't know it was going to be Because if they can somehow squeeze out 3 wins this weekend, they can host next week.
Right.
Against the winner of the Northwestern, so the Evanston, Illinois regional, that's hosted by Northwestern. But I tell you something that I didn't know until last night, Tom, talking to Coach Murphy face-to-face. This Central Arkansas team that's coming in here this weekend, they had 2 regular season wins against Arkansas.
Mm.
So that tells you they can play.
Yeah. So who would be in the circle for Alabama? You know, I know Montana was scheduled to pitch the first 2 games of the SEC tournament, but who is next up in terms of, you know, will this be a committee deal? Will this be, 3 different pitchers, or who do you think this falls on now?
I think the first game Friday will be Alex Salter. She's got good experience. She's got a pretty good changeup. There is no other Montana Fouts on this team.
Right.
There's really not many in the country. She's a top 4 pitcher in the nation, and they don't have anybody of that caliber. I'm going to be frank with you. Like I said, I've followed this for a long time. What they've got left to put in the circle this weekend is people that are normally midweek pitchers. They're used to playing people like Troy and UAB and people like this is different. It's different, Tom.
Is it unusual to have that much of a drop off? I mean, for a program like Alabama, and by the way, part of it is 5. Let's be honest. They have been so highly ranked for so long. You get a little bit of reputation love here. I would think that part of it is reputation, but does it seem surprising to you that this team would have, that much of a drop off? You got the superstar weekend pitcher and then a bunch of midweek girls. I mean, it would seem to be there would be a little bit of less of a gap.
Well, I would have said yes, it's surprising until the portal began. The portal took away Lexi Kilfoyle, who is now the number 2 at Oklahoma State. She would have been the number 2 here and was a stud. A very highly contributing pitcher that was far superior to anyone else other than Montana. But when Lexi Kilfoyle hits the portal, you're kind of left hanging. And they didn't bring anybody. They brought in someone to pitch that had pitched very little at Michigan. She was mainly an infielder, and that's Lauren Essman, the only lefty. She's not really the answer unless you're playing a team that's full of lefties. And even then, she's probably not going to give you 7. They're going to have to piecemeal it, but to answer your original question, I think Alex Salter will get the nod Friday.
As far as Montana Fouts goes, Carrie Clark with us here, by the way, talking some Alabama softball. We'll get to the baseball in a moment. As far as she goes, you mentioned, her career ending this way, which is just awful. And there's really not a really great option for these women to go on and play, professionally or have the kind of notoriety that she could possibly have as the superstar quality that she has. But with the COVID year and all of that, 0 eligibility left. I mean, I know she's a 5th-year senior, but anymore it seems like these kids are playing 5-7 years, to get their 4 in. But she has 0 eligibility even with the free COVID year.
Yeah, we don't have a Stetson Bennett on the softball team.
No.
Now basketball looks like they're about to have one with Javon Quinterly, but softball does not have one. No, she has nothing left after this year. She's using her COVID year now, and she never redshirted either regularly or medically. So even with the COVID, you get 5. So this is 5, and that's it for her. Again, it's not been officially announced that she's done. That's just what I'm hearing. So if she's not able to go, then that's it for her. No more eligibility. They do have one of the top 5 high school pitchers in the country coming in the fall. Can't help them this year. Jocelyn Brisky from Arizona, very highly respected pitcher. Not as tall as Montana. She's about 5'8", but she can bring it. And unfortunately, they can't use her this weekend, or they would.
Or they probably would. Is right. All right. On to baseball. They win their 2nd series. The men do since Brad Bohannon was let go. First on the Bohannon story, it kind of got real quiet after when this story first broke, I thought some kid on the team, loose lips, saying, "Oh yeah, our pitcher's out." He was talking to a buddy who's a bettor in Ohio, and it got out, and Bohannon's the fall guy for it. And then when Bohannon, was kind of implicated, and there's no kids that seem to be implicated in it at all. Yeah, I started wondering, well, could this be just some buddy of his that's a coach in Ohio that called him and said, "How you guys looking this weekend?" "Oh, my starter's out on Friday night. My Friday night starter's out. I got to go to a bullpen game." Oh, is that it? That's interesting. And the guy goes and makes a bet. But we haven't heard anything else since any of this. Is there any more news that has come out of any of the investigations as to just how deeply involved Bohannon might have been on this deal?
Well, he was deeply involved enough that he lawyered up, and that's what cost him his job. I think he knew when he lawyered up that he had done something wrong. I don't think he placed the bet himself, but the person that placed the bet was doing so with his permission and with his knowledge. So I don't know if they were going 50-50 or whatever it was, but there's video proving that he was talking to someone at that. The Great
So
American
you don't
Ballpark.
think it was just inside information? To giving the guy inside information that the guy you get Brad Bohannon bet against his own team. I mean, I can't even imagine that. I mean, it's one thing to have Pete Rose. But Pete Rose said he always bet on the Reds to win, which is stupid because you're going to lose 60% of your games anyway, or 40% of your games in Major League Baseball anyway. But I can't even imagine that a college coach, and Brad's been on a show a number of times, I can't believe a guy would actually say, "Hey, get me in. I'll go in halves with you on LSU to beat us tonight." I mean, oh God,
that's what's out there. I don't know if they'll be able to prove that or not, but when they accused him of that and he lawyered up, that was it. And
now you would think that everybody he ever shook hands with at the program would be out of there, but they're playing good baseball right now. Does he have a chance to beat a guy depending on how well they go now the rest of the way?
I think he has a chance, but I think he'd pretty much have to get him to Omaha.
Really?
Or I'll say this. If he gets into a super regional, he's got a good chance. But right now, they've got a chance to host a regional.
Yeah.
You aptly stated the fact that they should win, if not sweep, the series against Ole Miss. They definitely should be able to take 2 out of 3 from Ole Miss. It's not a good year for the Rebels. And Alabama is hot. You said 5-2, 4-2 in the league. The toughest league in the country, I would add. And, 2 out of 3 at home against Bandi, 2 out of 3 on the road against A&M, and a midweek win in Montgomery over Troy since all this happened. And my understanding is that one of the RPIs this morning has them at 10. And if you're in the top 16, you have a chance to be a host. And with the facility Alabama has, it's only 5 or 6 years old. They have not hosted a regional since they rebuilt the Joe. And so this is their chance to do that. And if they host the regional and win it and advance to a super, which is unlikely they'd host a super, but if they host the regional and win it and get to a super, I would say Jason Jackson will at least be interviewed for the head coaching job.
Yeah, I would hope. Yeah, that you would think in that case.
There are other people out there that can come in here and run this program and probably get it back to Omaha in 2 or 3 years. But I think if he does that and gets past a regional, wins it, I think he'll be in consideration. If they interview 3 or 4, I think he'd be one of them.
I read an article that said they should go after Dave Maggin, and he wanted a job before, maybe the greatest player to ever come out of there, and then maybe, yeah.
Never been a manager. Never had to make a lineup. Never had to recruit. Never had to deal with NIL. Never had to deal with the portal. Very unlikely. It's a fun idea, but it's very unlikely. I mean,
great job, though. Don't you think it's a good job at this point? Don't you think it's a really good job? With the facility, as you said, it would feel like to me that it's a pretty attractive job.
No, I hate to be a cop out here, but it'd be a better job if Alabama has a state lottery.
Yeah, that's not a bad point.
It'd be a better job. Is it a good job? Yes. Is it a great job? No. But it could be a great job if the right coach was running the thing and could get the right people contributing to the NIL.
Right.
And could get the right people out of the portal every year and keep his good players from going into the portal. It's one thing to lose somebody to the draft.
Yeah.
When you lose somebody that's a good player to the portal, that kills you, man.
Yeah.
That's true of any sport, but, the baseball scholarship situation, the way they got to divide them up at all, I mean, the last person that got 90% at Alabama of a scholarship was Lance Cormier. You know how long he's been gone? He's retired from the majors now. So he runs the gym here in Tuscaloosa. So, there's a lot of juggling that has to go on with scholarships and financial aid and all that. And, Magadan's never done any of that.
Yeah. What is it, 11 and a third or 11 and 2? I had a son that was a very good high school player that was getting looked at and stuff. But I think, what is it, 11 and a third or something like that they get? Or how many did they get?
Full scholarship, it's, I want to say 13 maybe.
Oh, maybe 13 now? Okay. 'Cause I remember at one point it was like 11 or 12 and a fraction, and they had to take that money and spread it out over,
I think it was 11 and 3/4 at one time.
Right,
but
11 and 3/4.
I'm not sure if it's still that number or if it's gone up a little bit.
All right, Kerry, great stuff.
I know it's less than 15.
Yeah, Liz definitely less than 15. There's no doubt about that. Kerry Clark has been our guest. Kerry, great stuff. I appreciate it. Good stuff on a softball team. We'll reach out again. Let's see, see them. Inspirational story. Hopefully Montana is okay, but if it's not, then, obviously she wouldn't. Okay means that maybe she would be available, down the road in the tournament. So let's just kind of keep an eye on it this weekend and see what they do. I mean, it would be great stuff to see them move on.
If I hear anything for sure, I'll text you, Tom.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Thank you. That's Kerry Clark. Way to end. And there's nowhere to go, Grizz. I mean, did they have at one point in time, there was a professional women's league.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know if she can, I don't know how she is on the mic. I mean, Jessica Mendoza, outside of Olympics, right? International play. I mean, that's what, basically what they have is international play. But it's too bad that there really isn't a avenue for these women to go on and make a living.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see her get picked up by like SEC Network or something like that and do maybe some softball broadcasting. I don't know.
She'll have those opportunities, I bet.
Yeah, but I mean, just something outside of, I get it. I would love to be honest with you, I watch more of the playoff softball than I do, the postseason softball than I do the basketball. Because I think it's just I think it's just a better sport in general. I just for some reason I'm
women's basketball.
Yeah,
women's
basketball. No, I'm talking about women's basketball. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because for some reason it's just it's more.
Basketball.
I just think the softball games are more fun to watch and there's more. I'd be honest, there's kind of more action. It's more kind of you don't know what to expect when you're watching some of these softball games.
It's fast. Yeah. I don't know about how much action there is. I mean, it's definitely fast. There's no doubt about it. I'll be honest with you. My biggest gripe when I'm watching it is I can't take all the screaming. They
cheer? You talking about the cheering?
Cheering.
I've been doing that since they were kids, man.
I know that. I can't. I have a hard time with that part of the game. Apparently, there is a league. It's the Women's Professional Fast Pitch League, the WPF. Is that the league now?
But you just don't watch. It's not televised.
Well, nobody sees it. Nobody. I don't know what's. I don't know if they make any money or whatever.
I wonder if ESPN could pick that up, kind of like how the NBA kind of picks up the WNBA. I wonder if the MLB could maybe pick that up and maybe do something. But it's the MLB, so I don't expect much.
No, they're not going to bother with that. They're not going to bother with this. I mean, ESPN is going to put a cornhole and slam ball and like lawn jarts on before you see a women's professional softball game.
Well, we already have cornhole, so I mean, there's already one there.
That's what I'm saying. You get all of that stuff. There's no room for a women's softball game. You got to have the cornhole. I mean, come on. I mean, how are we going to watch the lawn jarts if they have the softball game on? They did that slam ball thing. Remember the slam ball?
They're going to do a 6 week schedule or 6 week.
Got to have dodgeball. I mean, come on. You got dodgeball.
I'd watch some league dodgeball. I'd definitely watch some league dodgeball.
Crazy. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, let's go open lines the rest of the way. We got open lines for you the rest of the way. Got some broadcasting news, but I have a bit of a quandary, and it has to do with the fact that over the weekend, my wife and I became empty nesters. Finally, have become empty nesters as the last of the spawn of the Junkyard Babe and myself have exited the house. And we are now empty nesters, yes. And I don't know what to do. Well, I mean, I know what to do with me, but I don't know what to do with some of the stuff. I'll explain right after this. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Since 1998, Scooter's Coffee has delivered high-quality drinks with quick service and a big smile. And the folks at Scooter's Coffee know a great cup of coffee or other drink can bring a smile to just about anyone. Yes, we specialize in great coffee, but Scooters also has smoothies, teas, and delicious food items too. And this week, Scooters is our zone deal. Right now, get $50 worth of Scooters in Huntsville for just $25 online at 977ESPN.com.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas return home for 6 games starting Tuesday, May 16th as they take on the Birmingham Barons. First 1,500 adults into the gates at Toyota Field will receive a commemorative Trash Pandas bobblehead. Get your tickets while they are still available now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it. From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, we'll see partly sunshine heading into the afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms become a possibility. High temperature is going to be topping back out in the upper 80s for the afternoon. For your Monday night, a few lingering showers and thunderstorms still going to be possible. Otherwise, we'll sit under a mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures expected to fall back into the upper 60s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
This is Mike Greenberg. Be sure and download the app today. Just search for 97.7 ESPN and listen to my show every weekday right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center and TOC Sports. For all your injury needs, it's TOC Sports. Doesn't matter whether it's a work injury. I didn't have him look at my bruise on my forehead. It's pretty much gone away. Looks like it's pretty much gone away. Those of you watching WZZ on TV, as I hold my forearm up there, I think it's gone away. But, you know, any whether it's a shoulder, an elbow, a wrist, a hand, a foot, a knee, a back, a neck, whatever, they've got a specialist for you at TOC Sports. They've been taking care of the Tennessee Valley for more than 20 years. And if you're within the sound of my voice, you're probably, unless you're listening online, you're probably not so far from a TOC outlet, you know, one of their places, one of their clinics or one of their areas that they have all around the area. So it's absolutely spectacular. They know exactly what they're doing. They take care of most of the schools in the region. They take care of Alabama A&M, take care of the Huntsville Havoc, and have for years, and they can take care of you. When that time comes, whether it's just an aging thing or whether you're an athlete or whether you have a child that got hurt in a sporting event and you need an orthopedic, you need TOC Sports. It's the only choice. All right. So, Grizz, as I posted on my personal Facebook, and a lot of people have commented and liked it or loved it, the post, and several have actually written comments on the post. I posted a picture of my family. You were one of the ones that liked it. I posted a picture of my lovely family, the 9 children that my wife and I had, all boys except for 5. And I put it up there. They're all gone now from the house. I mean, they're not gone. And as my daughter Kelly says in one of the reports, we never really go away. They don't. They keep coming back just to see us and to hang out and things like that. But so now the last are gone. Now keep in mind, this we've got like a compound over here. All right, we got like a compound here right in downtown Winchester, Tennessee. It's like a compound. The main house itself, 5 bedrooms, and over the years we've one of the bedrooms became a studio, and it has a connecting room, and that became my wife's studio where she does all her creativity stuff. She has all kinds of sewing machines in there and different things that she does in there, the things that she creates. And then another room was a guest room, and then another room was Captain Cool's room. Okay. And then out back, there's a 1,000 square foot guest house that's got 2 more bedrooms. So we can house some people. And then there's the barn, which has the boat in it. And then it has 2 huge bays in it one's a wood shop. And then the other is opened up to the point where at some particular point in time, my wife's got one of her projects in there right now. She took in a what do you call it? A pool table, Grizz. One of these really fancy schmancy pool tables with the leather pockets and stuff. So she took in a pool table as a job where she's refinishing it. She's sanding it down and she's refinishing it. They took the slate out and they just brought her the body of the pool table. It's being refurbished, and she does that kind of stuff. So she's sanding the whole thing down, and then she lacquers it and whatever she does, stains it. She's going to stain it. That's cool, and do all of that stuff, and she gets paid to do that stuff. So she's very handy that way. So anyway, that could actually be like a studio apartment out there in the barn, but I'm fighting that.
Yeah, don't let that happen. No she sheds.
We don't need any more things like that. She wants to build a greenhouse. Okay, fine. We have all the parts for it, and at some point in time, we'll build this greenhouse. But so there's a small barn, and then there's the big barn. The small barn is storage, and it's got all the lawn equipment and everything else. So anyway, it's like a compound here, right in the middle of downtown. And all of a sudden, the big house, which is where we live, is it's like empty. It's like totally empty. And so what's happening is we're moving the guest room into what was Captain Cool's room. So we're in the process of doing it because that was a bigger room.
It took my parents 10 years to do that.
No, we don't want any chance of him coming back.
My dad's got all his biking gear up in my room now.
No, this stuff is getting moved immediately. And then we're moving we have some different things. She has a treadmill she walks on. It's got some light weights, and I got her a bench for Mother's Day so she can do her little work. She works out, every day, just about. So
throws 225 up every day.
Yeah, there you go. So we're going to take this. She can get on her bike and do spin class. We're going to take the little room, which is a guest room right now. We're turning that into like a little workout room. She can have her mat where she can do her yoga or whatever. She's stretching, and a TV in there and all that kind of stuff. So what's happening is that now we've got all the stuff that we've accumulated from the children over the years from their athletic prowess, throughout their careers.
Medals.
And stuff. Now, John, Captain Cool, he had already given me some awards that he won and things like that are displayed in my studio. And then there's also like the awards that they give them at the school, like when they're a senior, that has their pictures on it and all that kind of stuff. So I got Tommy and John's stuff up there. But then there was a box, and I didn't even realize there was a box that was buried in the corner of the closet in John's room that had all these hats in there and some jerseys in there. And there was like my son, who was a very good baseball player, my second oldest son, there was all of his hats from all of his teams that he played on, Summer League, AAU, travel ball, all this kind of stuff. And then there were there's a couple of jerseys of John's with his name on the back and everything. And they're just in a box like they get tossed.
Oh, yeah. No, I took a bunch of stuff out of this closet before my dad put all his stuff in there. Well, some of the stuff was still in there. And I had tons of jerseys and baseball, just stuff that still had my name on the back of it. And I have it in a box, and I will not throw it away. It is.
I can't.
I'm talking about T-ball. I'm talking about T-ball shirts.
But that's you.
Yeah.
So now John has left this stuff behind.
He's got to get that.
He's got to get now that. It turned. So then I sent Tommy, who was here yesterday for the Mother's Day, I sent Tommy upstairs. I said, there's a box upstairs that has, like, your hats, the history of you.
Yeah.
And that you're going to have, he's married now, and I'm like, you're going to have a kid someday, you're going to have some sons. They would love to have some of your memorabilia from your playing days. Now, I know a bunch of his jerseys he gave away to girlfriends over the years. He would give away these jerseys. I said, I know you don't have hardly any of your jerseys because you gave the jerseys to the girls, which is stupid. Okay, you don't give them to these girls. It's stupid. So they're gone. But your hats from when you played on all of these different teams. This is the hat you wore when you hit the 3-run homer to win that AAU game. You remember that? Oh yeah, that's nice. He left it. I said, go upstairs and get your hats that are yours, that are part of your history. And he didn't take any of them.
Yeah,
and then
I have a ton of them.
And John, now I think John took his jersey, his high school football jersey, and his gloves. He had like shadow boxed. So he did take that. But there's memorabilia. And then, so my wife says, all right, we've now opened up a big closet upstairs, so we can now take jackets from downstairs that you have in your closet, which you have way too many of, and move them upstairs. Now, I get a lot of stuff sent to me by Bass. So I have literally, if I don't have 8 or 10 different Carhartt jackets and raincoats and everything else that have the Bassmaster logo on them, I don't have one. And I have some Tennessee Titans stuff that some coaches had given me. I don't get rid of anything. I don't get rid of anything. So she goes, I'm going through my closet to move jackets upstairs, and she goes, well, why are you taking those upstairs? I haven't even seen those, haven't seen a light of day in 10 years. Just get rid of them. I'm like, I can't get rid of it. I got 2 great vests. One's a vest and one's a golf jacket that are from WNSR, Sports Radio 560.
Yeah.
Right? My station from Nashville. And when would I ever wear that? It's got, on one side it says the Tom Abraham Show. And on the other side it has Sports Radio 560 WNSR logo. And I haven't worn that stuff. I've been gone from there. The last time now one of my shows, Bassmaster Radio, is on there. But I haven't been on that radio station on a regular basis since 2013. What is this, 2023?
Yes.
So it's been 10 years. Grizz, what do I do? Do I put these 2 beautiful jackets that have another radio station's logo on them, do I put them in the bin to give away to the donate?
I've seen some. I told you I did go to a thrift store here in town, and I found a polo. It was a Madison Academy polo. Had the Madison Academy symbol and everything. So there are people out there that are willing to, donate their clothing.
I won't put anything that's got my name on it. That's the one thing.
Oh, are you kidding me? If I find it, I'm wearing it. If I find it, I'm wearing it in the meeting.
Yeah, no, I would.
I know the good thrift stores.
I would not give away stuff that has my name on it because I don't know what might happen. Somebody might wear it for do a crime or something. You know what I mean? If there's a crime that is going to be committed with the Tom Abraham Show jacket on, I'm doing it. Okay, I will do the crime if it's a crime with a Tom Abraham Show jacket.
Or maybe you should do something where you can. I don't know. Taking the stitching at it might mess it up.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, is there a way I could cover up the old logo? But then on the other hand, I'm still on that radio station with one of my shows. So could I wear
You could wear
Could I
it.
wear stuff that has previous radio station? That's the other thing I have in my closet. I have a dozen pieces of Middle Tennessee gear, MTSU gear, because I was on their broadcast team for 6 years. So I have a bunch of MTSU gear that I very rarely ever wear. Do I get rid of it? What do I do with it?
I still have a Westminster Christian Academy shirt that it doesn't say anything. It just has their logo and, it says Johnson & Hayes on the side and it has Under Armour on the other side because it's an Under Armour shirt. And I'm like, it's a decent, shirt. Like, people could just think I'm a Wildcats fan or something. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to, think that I coach there.
But what do you do with your kids' stuff? That's the bigger thing. It's bothering me because I think that they're going to. And then
My mom would keep it.
They were so flippant about it.
Yeah.
And I had 3 of them over here, and I dragged them. I said, is this what's going to be like when I pass? When I die, are you people just going to pack up my studio and throw away this stuff? So I dragged them in here, into the studio. And I said, okay, there's enough awards up here on this shelf from Best Radio Show in Nashville Awards that there's enough that you each can get one of those. They're really cool shadow box disc set type things. I said, you can have those. I said, then there's the Abbeys, and then there's the fishing trophies, and then there's other awards that I've got. There's enough for everybody to get a few, a couple of things. And then I started taking them around to the memorabilia. I go, this baseball's signed by Justin Morneau, who when I threw out a first pitch at a game. Justin Morneau was the catcher at the time for it. I said, this is signed by Derek Jeter. This one's signed by Roger Clemens, size 6. I said, there's the Derek Jeter wall up there with some pictures signed by Jeter. I said, what are you guys going to do with this? There's a helmet that's signed by Hank Williams Jr., and one that's signed by Phillip Rivers, and one that's signed by Joe Theismann. And what am I going to do with this stuff? I said, are you guys just going to pack it up and give it away? So I told them, I said, I'm going to go make a living memorabilia craps will up. And I'm going to, I don't know.
You do that on the internet. Just type whatever the item is, and then you just spin the wheel. You could do it very easily. You didn't have to
I'm going to whack it up. I'm going to dedicate certain things. I'm like, this goes to you, this goes to you, this goes to you.
You'll see it on Pawn Stars in a couple of years.
I'm looking over there now. For those of you that are watching, you're missing this on WZZN TV here. I just spun it around. That's the Great Wall of Craps, right, Grizz? You can see that. You're watching on the...
It's a lot of stuff.
You see that there? All right, so that's the Great Wall of Craps right over there.
That's the best backdrop to have when you're doing interviews with anybody.
I should be all that
there.
Stuff. You're right.
Like, that should be the backdrop. Honestly,
I should have it on that side of me.
I'm just saying you should flip it around.
That
window's over there.
I told one of my sons that. That right there. That's a signed copy. No, that's a original signed copy from Daniel. That one there. That was $1,500.
My parents have the same one in their house.
Yeah. But is it an original signed by Daniel?
Daniel Moore?
That's the key. Yeah.
I don't know if it's original, but it's signed
by
by Daniel Moore, though. I have a ton of. I have like an old popcorn bin signed by Daniel Moore. I've got random stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and the popcorn bin I think was his drawing and everything like that.
Well, my kids' stuff. I wish they would take their stuff because they're going to be sorry someday that they don't have this memorabilia of theirs, from the time that, and I'm having a hard time. And my wife she's ready to like toss stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the hat Tommy wore when he hit 750 in that tournament in Jackson, Tennessee, that week-long tournament. Let me go on. Brandon is up. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Man, I'm having a good time listening to you go down memory lane.
Well, I don't know what to do, Brandon. I just don't know what to do because this is my kids' 42 and a half years. Now, I have files that are in my safe, a fireproof safe. I have newspaper clippings from my kids' achievements in sports from over the years. My daughters who were volleyball champions and soccer champions and things like that, which I will share with them at some particular point in time. And hopefully they'll be wise enough to take them. You know what I mean? They should have this stuff.
Well, that's good of you because I can promise you my parents didn't do that. At any point in time, if you'd ever asked my dad something, he'd have looked at you and said, huh? That would have been all he knew was driving a truck. We had a conversation Friday about expansion, talking about Oregon and other schools getting ready to, they're vetted to join the Big Ten.
Potentially.
And then comes out today a story that says Florida State is raising hell along with Clemson, wanting an uneven revenue distribution because they claim they're at the top and everybody else is at the bottom.
Yeah, that one's been out there for about 6 months. We covered that about 6 months ago. They said that they bring the majority of the money in to the league, and they want to have like with the deal that Texas had with the Big 12, where they want a bigger cut of the money that comes into the league.
Well, this David Hookstead is kind of hinting at the fact that it's really ramped up to the point of them trying to figure out how to get out of the conference, because he's saying there's about a $30 million gap in the difference of how much money is going to be paid out. And they're saying when you look at giving up all that TV money rights, that if you came into the SEC, it would be close to what?
Well, there's a $120 million exit fee, first of all. So first you have to pay a $120 million exit fee. Then you have to give all the money you get from TV until 2036 back to the ACC. So that's where the problem comes in for those teams. It's not just $30 million, whatever that gap is this year, unless it's $30 million a year. But what would happen is that you go to the SEC, and now the SEC is distributing $50 or $60 million a year or $90 million a year to its teams. You owe all of that, 100% of that money you have to give to the ACC until 2036. So they're going to have to. And there was a similar type of thing that Oklahoma and Texas had, but they negotiated, along with ESPN, they negotiated a deal to buy the deal out, but it would cost hundreds of millions of dollars for an ACC team to leave right now, because they all signed off on this stupid grant of rights deal that lasts all the way to 2036, 13 more years.
Well, if you were really tricky and you really wanted to be low down about it, you could just pay them a membership fee to be part of the conference and not call it TV rights money. Just say, hey, we're not paying you for TV rights. We're just going to give you a membership stipend. And then you walked right around that TV money. I mean, if the SEC wanted to get down and dirty, and if they really wanted to go cutthroat on it, they could do that. And
that would definitely open up some issues.
I'm just saying, I'm wondering, are we getting to that? Are we going to get to the point to where they would say, sure, the money you get won't be labeled as TV money till
Well, it depends on. Well, it also, remember we also talked about that story. What makes that go away? What makes that go away, the grant of rights deal, what makes that go away is that if 8 teams end up leaving the 14-team SEC or ACC. So if 8 teams were to leave, then all of that goes away. So the question is Miami and Florida State and Clemson and whoever else, I mean, how good would the SEC look with Duke, and how good would SEC basketball look with Duke and UNC in the fold, as well as with Kentucky and the emerging teams at Alabama, Auburn, and so on? I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing to bring Tobacco Road into the league as well. So the question would be, if the SEC is at 16 right now, or at 16 right now, and the goal is 20 because that's where the Big Ten is going, then you wonder whether or not 4 of those teams are coming, could possibly be annexed. Now, where do the other 4 go that completely wipes out the ACC? Now, 2 of which could be, if I was the Big Ten, when I get done with taking on Oregon and Washington to get to 18, I'd go the other way. I'd look east again. Remember, they added Rutgers and they added Maryland. Years ago, they added Penn State. Let me tell you, 2 teams out of the ACC that would look great in the Big Ten, Syracuse and Pitt. They both are private schools that work for what they're looking for. Syracuse used to have a great rivalry with Penn State, so Pitt has a great rivalry with Penn State. And if you added Syracuse and Pitt to the Big Ten on the east side, wow, what a little corridor you got over there now with Penn State and Syracuse and Pitt and Rutgers, and Maryland, and think from a basketball standpoint as well, their heritage and so on. So I think the next, the Pac-12 is getting decimated. And whatever's going to be left of the Pac-12, it's going to look like a minor conference. It's going to look bad. It's going to look really bad. They're at 8. If in fact Washington and Oregon leave, they're at 8, And now there's talk about Colorado and Arizona leaving and going to the Big 12. That's 6. That they're done. They might as well take those 60, put it, the rest of them. Stanford will end up in the Mountain West. With in Oregon State can go to the Mountain West, whatever, because there's just going to be 2 super conferences and everything else. But the next conference, I really believe the next conference to come under attack could be the ACC, where not only the SEC attacking the southern half of the ACC, and the Big Ten attacking the northern part of the ACC, i.e. Pitt, Syracuse, those teams. Could happen.
And what you're talking about, bringing the basketball in, bringing in North Carolina and Duke, that's what.
How cool would that be?
About bringing in the money.
Yeah. Can you imagine North Carolina, Duke, Clemson, Florida State to the league? And I know that the Big Ten at some point in time had talked about Miami. Big Ten would like to get into Florida, but I don't know that that's going to happen. I mean, there'd be such an outlier over there. But
see, Miami would be the only thing left. If Clemson and Florida State decide to, if they make a screw it, we're leaving move, and they figure out something to do, who really wants to stay in that conference? Because what you're talking about,
the
Big Ten
hurdle for Florida State is
Big East North.
Right. The hurdle for Florida State would be the Gators, because I don't know that you can just do that. I mean, I think there's some sort of rights. You know what I mean, that these schools have. I don't know that you could just automatically, hey, Florida State's going to the SEC. I think Florida would have something to say about that.
Well, you'd have to draw that line and figure out, because if you go to 20 teams, then this whole pod thing doesn't need to be done anymore. You can do 10 West and 10 East.
Right.
You'll have the SEC West and East and play 10 conference games, which gets rid of some of these cupcakes that we don't need. But I think that's great. Going to 20 would really ensure you would only have 2 out-of-conference games.
And really what it is that
buck it up.
Right, and you could go back to the days when the Big Ten had 10 and the SEC had 10 and so on. All it is it becomes a merger of conferences. It's really a merger of 2 conferences, what ends up being. And then you say, well, that's too many teams. You can't play them all. Well, you could in basketball, but in football, what it is basically it's a super conference merger between 2 conferences. You know what I mean? It's kind of along those lines. You go back before South Carolina and Arkansas, there was 10 teams in the SEC, and someday it's going to be 20. I really believe that we're headed for 20 in the 10, and we're headed for 20 in the SEC. And in the Big 12 might be the other one that's picking up the pieces with a bunch of those teams. They may, because their Big 12's talking about Colorado and Arizona, and if Arizona goes, maybe Arizona State, and if Colorado goes, maybe Utah. What if those 4 schools end up in the Big 12? Now you end up with 3 conferences that cover 60 teams, okay? And then everybody else is a mid-major.
Yeah, the Mountain West will probably absorb what's left of the Pac-12.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah. God, that commissioner has drove that conference into a piss hole. Like that guy right there, he's going to be holding the bag blamed for this, for failure to hold on to the teams.
ESPN and Fox have already said they're not interested at all in the SEC or in the Pac-12 games, in the Pac-12 network. Not without UCLA and USC. I mean, that was the only attractant out there, was really those places.
That's what I'm taking a look at is, are you even going to see those games on TV anymore?
Which games?
I mean, you got to put some on it, the Pac-12 games. I mean, I know you got to put
what's left of the Pac-12. Yeah, what's left of the Pac-12 will be on the Pac-12 network, and will be on. I'm sure that some of those games will be picked up, but they'll be afterthought. They're going to be not in the prime times. That's for sure. Not in the best times.
Well, rock and roll, my brother.
All right, man.
Roll Tides.
Appreciate you. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back and wrap it up next. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This far into rush hour traffic, most people would have rage accelerated at least once. But not you, Lacey No Hard Accelerations Ever Johnson, because you are a safe driver. And like most drivers who sign up for Snapshot from Progressive, which customizes your rate for how and how much you drive, you could earn a discount for your good driving. So if your hula dancing dashboard doll thinks you're going to hard accelerate because you're running late, then your hula dancing dashboard doll doesn't know. Lacey No Hard Accelerations Ever Johnson. Sign up for Snapshot today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
The anthem today is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. Yeah, you may think those interest rates have gotten higher. Well, they didn't go up. They got high, then they started coming back down a little bit and then kind of leveled out somewhat as well. I think you can get around 5% on a 15-year mortgage. But here's what's really high is your credit card debt. And the rates on your credit cards. I mean, those things are ridiculous. They did 16, 17, 18, 22, 24.99%. You know why it's 24.99%? Because 25% is usurious. That's like a loan shark. Not that I know anything about loan sharks, but I'm just saying 24.99%. So how do you get rid of that? Well, you also have a lot of value in your home that is, stayed up there pretty high. So you can get that value out and pay off your high interest rate credit cards and do that with North Alabama Mortgage. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com and learn more. All right. Well, here, Happy Trails are with us now. So it's time for us to send you off to Paul Feinbaum. She'll have plenty on conference realignment possibilities to come as well. Of course, later on, it'll be The Drive with Wes and Steve. Show is mixed expertly by Grizz. I'm Tom Abraham. And this is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Others are blue. It's the way you ride the trail that counts. Here's a
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The 2023 Atlanta Braves are back, and with a loaded roster of young talent and some new faces in the A, it's going to be another wild season.
Riley hammers one, deep left field, bombs away.
Tonight, tonight, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna, and your Atlanta Braves roll into Globe Life Field in Arlington to take on the AL West Texas Rangers. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:50 Eastern, 5:50 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson.
At www.hallsrvsales.com.
This hour of the Blitz is brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Online at FlemingHSV.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Welcome to the